Hi everyone, welcome to Data Science, Simply Explain. Alright, so this is my first video, and no, we're not diving into robots, AI overlords, or mind-blowing models just yet. We're starting with something way more foundational, but without it, data science wouldn't exist. Let's talk about data! Trust me, this is where the journey really begins. You know everything about data, right? What's so important about data anyway? Isn't it just plug and play? Throw the data into a model and get some results? No! Unfortunately, it doesn't really work that way. I would probably say you'll spend about 60% of your time on a project learning, cleaning, and making sense of your data. The larger the data set, the harder it gets. So what types of data do we have? We've got text, like tweets or articles, images and videos, and numbers, things like height, temperature, or your daily steps. There's also categorical data, yes or no, small or large. It's about labels, not numbers. Some data changes over time, like stock prices or heart rate. That's called time series data. Then there's how it's organized. Structured data lives in tables or spreadsheets. Unstructured data, it's messier, like raw text, images, or videos. And then there's semi-structured data that is in between, like JSON files. But that's a topic for another video. So what makes good data? It needs to be complete with non-missing data. Or if it's missing data, it needs to be logical missing data. The data needs to be consistent. That means it needs to look the same everywhere. It needs to be accurate. We got to make sure that the data is correct. Misspelled words might throw the model off. Is the data timeline appropriate? Are you using weather data from 10 years ago to predict today's forecast? Finally, is the data valid? If it's a 1 through 10 rating, but there's a 50 in there, it makes the data invalid. Data has a life cycle. Wait, data's alive? Maybe. Who knows? First, we collect data from surveys, sensors, or even dusty old files. Then we store it. Hopefully not back in the basement. Next comes EDA. That's short for exploratory data analysis. Basically, we look for obvious patterns or weird stuff. Then we clean the data by fixing errors or filling in gaps. After that, we pick a model, train it with the data, and finally use it to make predictions on the new data. All right, let's do a quick recap. We start by classifying the data that we have. Then we perform some data exploration. Then we clean some data. After that, we train our model using that squeaky clean data. Finally, we make predictions on the new data using that trained model. That's it. Isn't that simple? I hope so. If you think this is helpful, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If there's a topic you want me to cover, let me know. Thanks, y'all. See you next time.